Today there are a lot of updates from the Kurakhove direction. Here, following the withdrawal of Ukrainian forces from Novomykhailivka due to intense Russian pressure after half a year of heavy fighting, Russian troops are now attempting to seize the next tactically valuable position, Kostyantynivka. Capturing this location could enable them to achieve their primary objective in this direction, to bypass the Ukrainian stronghold of Vuhledar. After initial unsuccessful attempts to capture Kostyantynivka with attacks from the west and southwest of Novomykhailivka, Russian forces decided to take a brief tactical pause to bring in reinforcements and prepare better for the upcoming battle. Kostyantynivka, a key transportation hub in the region, is crucial for any side that controls it. Prominent Russian military bloggers have noted that controlling Kostyantynivka would complicate Ukrainian logistics along the Vuhledar-Mariinka highway and create conditions for encircling the Ukrainian army group around Vuhledar. The next logical step for the Russians was to commit significant forces to operations aimed at breaking through the Ukrainian defense line near Novomykhailivka. According to a Ukrainian commander in the area, the Russians have concentrated approximately 10 units, including 2 brigades and several regiments, conducting over 10 daily assaults with infantry and heavy equipment. These attacks follow the same 2 main vectors, one directly to the west and another heading southwest. The assaults are supported by strikes with guided aerial bombs and the continuous use of lancet loitering munitions against relatively small targets, such as individual mortars, to undermine Ukrainian defensive capabilities. Geolocated footage has emerged online, showcasing some of these attacks and their typical unfolding. In the first clip, published by Russian sources, an armored group is seen advancing against a Ukrainian position along a tree line in front of Paraskoviivka, a suburb of Kostyantynivka. Russian artillery provides suppressive fire against the defenders. Paraskoviivka is considered tactically important by the Russians due to its location just east of Kostyantynivka, with both settlements separated by a small lake. To advance into the village from the south of this water obstacle, the Russians need to capture the suburb on the north side, as failing to do so would leave their flank vulnerable to Ukrainian counterattacks. To support these multi-directional assaults, the Russians have conducted several heavy bombardments on Paraskoviivka. Ukrainian soldiers from the 79th Separate Airborne Assault Brigade, responsible for the defense of this region, have released several videos showing in detail how they are countering Russian attempts to gain ground. These elite forces are engaged in relentless day and night operations, prioritizing the destruction of enemy armored vehicles. The first Russian vector of attack is through the farms located north of Novomykhailivka and east of Paraskoviivka. A turtle tank is leading the attack, but explodes after hitting an anti-tank mine. Once it is disabled, the rest of the assault group, consisting of T-72B3 and T-80BV tanks, is also targeted with FPV drones and javelin-guided missiles until all vehicles are destroyed. Simultaneously, the Russians also started another attack southwest of Novomykhailivka in an attempt to outflank the defenders in Kostyantynivka and attack them from the south. Here their assault group consisted of several T-62M tanks, BMP-2 infantry fighting vehicles, and BTR-82A armored personnel carriers, which tried to cross the open fields at high speed, but were quickly spotted and destroyed by the Ukrainians. Although the published videos show only a fraction of the destroyed equipment, they highlight the resurgence of powerful Javelin anti-tank guided missiles, now widely available to the Ukrainians due to new aid packages from the United States. After neutralizing the armored vehicles in both vectors of the attack, the Ukrainians quickly shift their focus to the enemy infantry and the surviving crews. Their drone operators documented how they finish off enemy soldiers in trenches, tree lines, and various hideouts using drone-dropped grenades and working together with artillery crews with cluster munitions. This multifaceted approach highlights their adaptability and tactical prowess in dealing with the ongoing Russian offensive. The firm Ukrainian resistance has led to heavy casualties for the Russian forces. Military analysts have reported that, based on confirmed geolocated footage alone, the Russians have suffered at least 32 damaged and destroyed armored vehicles in this first wave of renewed attacks following the brief pause. Even the extensive use of so-called turtle tanks has not yielded the anticipated results for the Russians. One video from the area shows such a tank attempting to spearhead an assault before hitting a mine. While the welded metal plates provide some protection against FPV drones, the tank's ability to perform actual combat tasks is limited to breaking through Ukrainian lines like a battering ram. The video concludes with a lone surviving Russian tank crew member running for cover, underscoring that despite the tank's impressive appearance, their additional defenses are ineffective against anti-tank mines, artillery shells, and modern guided missiles. Overall, after their initial unsuccessful attempts to storm Kostyantynivka following the capture of Novomykhailivka, the Russians were forced to take a brief tactical pause. However, the Ukrainians provided no respite, compelling the Russians to launch another series of attacks in an attempt to exploit what they saw as a final window of opportunity before the US aid reached the front line. The Ukrainian defenders, anticipating such actions, concentrated all their efforts not only on thwarting these Russian offensives, but also on undermining them by conducting extensive mining. In this context, we must remember that it took the Russians half a year of active operations and heavy casualties to take the tiny village of Novomykhailivka alone, and it is only the first one in a massive chain of settlements, so at the current rate of progress, they have zero prospects of achieving any significant breakthrough in the region. Especially considering that the effective Ukrainian resistance not only bought the defenders valuable time, but also set the stage for future counterattacks, demonstrating their strategic preparedness and resilience in the face of continued aggression. If you're against the invasion of Ukraine and you want to support the work that I am doing, consider making a purchase in the online store UA Supporter. Here you can find a lot of products with Ukrainian symbols to not only show your support for this channel, but also for Ukraine. The link to the online store is in the description. Thank you for watching this report, and I will see you in the next one.